Good evening. It's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. Well, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson meets Prime Minister Modi. He says that Prime Minister Modi has told Russia's Putin, "What on earth are you doing in Ukraine?" Meanwhile, India and the UK focus on a free trade deal and easier visas. Boris Johnson says, "I've got an Indian jab in my arm and thanks India for the warm welcome in Gujarat. Says I felt like Sachin and Amitabh Bachchan." The British Prime Minister enjoying escaping the heat back home on his India tour. Political strategist Prashant Kishor joining Congress, a done deal, sources tell NDTV. The Congress, however, wants him to cut off from all other political parties. Digvijay Singh, who's part of the committee looking at this, tells NDTV that his political and ideological commitment was an issue, but the Congress has an open mind. Temples, shops and homes demolished in Alwar in Rajasthan this Sunday. A row erupts over demolition double standards. The Congress says these demolitions were ordered by a BJP-led urban corporation, but the BJP says the Gehlot government is creating a communal divide. A year of education wasted for these two girls in hijab. Crucial exams today, but both sides refused to give in. These girls who went to court against the order not allowing them to wear hijab said they will not give their exams today. Without it, the state says no. And amid this, Nitish Kumar's strong message to his ally, the BJP, as he attends arch-rival Tejasvi Yadav's Iftar party. Strong political messaging to the BJP at this time. Nitish, Tejasvi and Chirag Paswan all at the Yadav Iftar. Well, a terrible Friday at the stock markets. This amid indication of a US Fed rate hike coming soon in May. Well, the world's richest men are going to be battling it out for IPL rights next. An NDTV exclusive on the inside story. Well, our lead story tonight, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson in Delhi met Prime Minister Modi today. British Prime Minister made all the right noises, unlike when there were senior officials in the United States visiting last month. He said he had spoken to Prime Minister Modi on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He said though India had a different historical relationship with Russia, that Prime Minister Modi had asked President Putin, what on earth does he think he's doing? He also talks of Britain's closeness with India and the fact that he's actually had an Indian jab of Covishield and the warm welcome he received in Gujarat, comparing himself to, he said, I felt like Sachin and Amitabh Bachchan when I saw all the billboards up for my welcome. A stark contrast to the stormy happenings at home that he's facing politically.
What the Indians want is peace. India has a historic relationship with Russia, which everybody understands and respects. Our Indian friends. He's intervened several times with Vladimir Putin, really to ask him what on earth he thinks he's doing. Questions about human rights or democratic values. Of course, we have these conversations, but the advantage of our friendship is we can have them.
The UK Prime Minister in India to discuss the free trade agreement, certainly not sidestepping thorny issues.
Prime Minister Modi, Narendra, my khas dost, and I had an amazing reception, absolutely amazing. I felt a bit like Sachin Tendulkar, and my face was about as ubiquitous everywhere as Amitabh Bachchan. I have the Indian jab in my arms, and sometimes it can be hard to tell whether something is British or Indian or, frankly, Brindian.
A big welcome for UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson on the second day of his two-day bilateral visit to India. His packed day began with a visit to Rajghat.
पिछले कई वर्षों से भारत और यूके के संबंधों को मजबूत करने में प्रधानमंत्री जॉनसन की बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही है। इस समय जब भारत अपनी आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है, प्रधानमंत्री बोरिस जॉनसन का यहां आना अपने आप में एक ऐतिहासिक पल है।
PM Johnson and Prime Minister Modi held a bilateral meeting at Hyderabad House. The meeting brought Boris Johnson's big announcement.
The UK is creating an India-specific open general export license reducing bureaucracy and slashing delivery times for defence procurement.
Several memorandums of understanding were signed between the two countries, including MOU on Global Innovation Partnership between the two Ministries of External Affairs, Memorandum of Understanding on the creation of Shevning Adani Scholarship on Artificial Intelligence, MOU on Satellite Launch Program between New Space India Limited and OneWeb. The Partygate scandal clearly followed the UK Prime Minister to India.
Do you think that the issues around rule breaking at number 10 doesn't matter to voters?
No, I don't.
Doesn't matter
and I
to them?
apologise for the things. I apologise deeply for the things we got wrong. But we've got to get on with the priorities of the people. That's what we're doing.
Well, there was a lot of bonhomie in the visit by the UK Prime Minister to India. Prime Minister Boris Johnson did raise the issue of human rights violation in India and the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which he later qualified, calling it a friendly conversation. With camera person Sushil Rathi, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
Well, moving to the other big political headlines, is political strategist Prashant Kishor now joining the Congress a done deal? Well, Sunil Prabhu has the inside story on this. Sunil, what's the latest? We saw that draft presentation of PK's plan for a Congress makeover. Is the Congress open to this? Will he be joining the Congress?
Well, Sonia, what we have been told by top Congress sources is that it's more or less a done deal. The fact that they have been deliberating and looking at it, of course, as we've been reporting, a few cardinal rules that have to be pointed out. The decision of him joining the party will, of course, be in consultation with the Congress President and Rahul Gandhi. What exactly will be his role as an election strategist and how they go forward and who will be reporting to, all those modalities will have to be worked out and ironed out, which is, of course, the Congress President has been taking a keen interest. But I think they are quite clear from Prashant Kishor's point of view. They don't want him to be associated with any other political party, and that when he joins the party, he's completely immersed to help the Congress party.
Right.
Of course, there's a big debate within the party as well as within the committee members about his role, about his future, about his ideas, whether they're implementable. And I think the final consensus is that it's a workable model. How they go about it is a matter of detail in terms of communications and everything else. But
no, I think that's an interesting point on the political
at this
disassociation with other parties. Because remember, of course, Prashant Kishor was with Mamata Banerjee in Goa, her Goa plan, poaching Congress leaders. Just recently, we saw Ripun Bora also thanking Prashant Kishor, and of course, also with Jagan in Andhra Pradesh. So how he'll have to abandon that if he signs on. Not with the Congress, but to be part of the Congress. But interestingly, also Digvijay Singh, senior Congress leader, who was part of the committee which was looking at Prashant Kishor's proposal and giving it to the Congress President Sonia Gandhi, spoke to NDTV on why he thinks that this will happen.
So let me get straight to the point. Is Prashant Kishor joining the party?
Well, I really don't know, because this is something which is with the Congress President.
But you are part of a committee that she has constituted to give its suggestions on the matter. Can you share with us what your suggestions are?
We have given our suggestions, but of course you don't expect me to share them with you.
So give us some idea though.
The idea is that we have submitted the report.
Okay, but what do you think of the suggestions that Prashant Kishor has put forward to revamp the party? You
Very
saw his presentation, so how do you see
Very
those?
interesting. He's a statistics man, and he has a political bent of mind, and analysis is quite impressive.
So what was it in particular that stood out for you in his analysis?
Well, nothing very new and nothing that we did not know. It's only a question of how you present an issue and how the party takes up these issues.
One of the things he has suggested in his final presentation to you all was to concentrate only on about 370 to 400 seats on your own and then focus on alliances in the rest of the seats. Is that correct? And how did you all view that suggestion?
Well, that doesn't need a presentation of Mr. Prashant Kishor to say that. As it is, when we see that in some states we are in a direct fight with BJP, And there are some states where we are not in direct fight. We have got alliances also. We had pre-poll alliances in 2014, 2019 also in some states. But of course, this is something which the Congress president has to take a call on.
Is it her final decision also on whether he should be inducted into the party, or is
Certainly.
this something you're collectively doing?
Certainly, yes. It is the Congress president who decides.
But what is the feeling in the party about having someone like him on board, possibly in the party? Is there some resistance to that idea?
No, there is no resistance. The people are receptive. The only thing is that to what extent and how and what.
Well, interestingly, as that's happening, perhaps one reason why the urgency for the Congress to come up with some solution is the open now outburst by Hardik Patel in Gujarat. And remember, he's the Congress working president, but he's sulking and is giving some indications that he's looking at joining another party, possibly even the BJP, after speculation as he praised some of the BJP's recent decisions. Gujarat, of course, goes to elections later this year and is apparently expected to be one of Prashant Kishor's first missions if he joins the Congress.
છેડો પાડશો તો કઈ પાર્ટી સાથે આપ જોડાશો?
શું કામ છેડો પાડવો છે? હજુ એવી તો કોઈ ચર્ચા જ નથી કે હું કોંગ્રેસ સાથે છેડો પાડું છું. સાચું બોલવાનું હોય, પરિવારમાં પણ પપ્પા સાથે મમ્મી સાથે ચર્ચા થાય ત્યારે આપણે સાચું બોલીએ છીએ. તો માત્ર સાચું હું કહી રહ્યો છું, જેથી કરીને ઘણીવાર એનો લોકો સ્વીકાર કરતા હોય છે. નેતાઓને બાદ કરતા એ સ્વાભાવિક એવું કહી શકે કે ભાઈ હાર્દિકની વાત આમ છે તેમ છે, લેકિન તમે હજારો કાર્યકર્તાને પૂછો તો કહેશે કે ના સાચી વાત છે, પાર્ટીની અંદર નિર્ણય શક્તિનો અભાવ છે.
પાર્ટી હાઈકમાન્ડ સાથે આપણે રજૂઆતો કરી છે, આપની નારાજગી અલગ અલગ મુદ્દાઓને લઈને. જો હાઈકમાન્ડ તરફથી કોઈ યોગ્ય નિર્ણય નહીં લેવામાં આવે,
આશા રાખું છું કે નિર્ણય આવે. આશા રાખું છું કે સારું સમાધાન પ્રક્રિયામાં આગળ વધીએ, કેમ કે છેવટે તો તમારું અને મારું ઉદ્દેશ માત્ર ગુજરાતને શ્રેષ્ઠ બનાવવાનો છે અને એ દિશામાં મારે આગળ વધવાનું છે. ભારતીય જનતા પાર્ટીએ જે તત્કાલ રાજકીય નિર્ણયો લીધા, તો આપણે એ વાત સ્વીકારવી પડે. જો રાજકીય નિર્ણયો લેવાની શક્તિ એમનામાં વધારે છે, તો હું એવું માનું છું એમની તારીફદારી કરતા પણ, વકાલત કરતા પણ સાચી વસ્તુનો સ્વીકાર કરવો પડશે. ગુજરાતની અંદર કોંગ્રેસે મજબૂત થવું હશે તો નિર્ણય શક્તિની સંવેદનાઓ ઉપર, નિર્ણય શક્તિની ક્ષમતા ઉપર વધારો કરવો પડશે.
Well, in other news, a strong political message by the BJP's political ally in Bihar, the Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, today attending the Iftar party hosted by arch-rival Tejasvi Yadav. So Nitish Kumar there attending an Iftar party after 5 years. The last time he attended a Yadav Iftar was 5 years ago. Also present there was Chirag Paswan, another vocal opponent of Nitish Kumar. But the fact that Nitish Kumar has attended this Iftar is a strong message there to the BJP, both in terms of Nitish Kumar keeping all options open and of course perhaps expressing displeasure at recent happenings in Delhi and Karnataka with bulldozer demolitions, and now in Rajasthan as well. Well, a huge political row now in Rajasthan, where it's now become public that on this Sunday, temples, shops and homes were demolished with bulldozers in Alwar in Rajasthan. The bulldozers demolished these temples and homes this Sunday, apparently on orders of the BJP-led urban body. But the BJP has said the Congress government is shifting the blame of what's a huge, according to them, double standards by the Congress who had protested against the demolitions in Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh and in Delhi recently.
ये देखो सराय में जो मंदिर है शिव जी का, वो कैसे धराशायी, ये देखो ये गया मंदिर को.
This ancient Shiv temple in Alwar's Rajgarh town, believed to be 300 years old, recently demolished in an anti-encroachment drive to make way for a broader road in the center of town. Along with this temple, 86 shops cum residences and another new temple, a recent construction, were also removed. But it's kicked off a huge political row, with both political parties trading charges. The Congress government in Rajasthan says the BJP ordered the demolition, as Rajgarh town has a municipal council ruled entirely by the BJP, and it's an autonomous body that calls the shots in town planning issues.
ये उन्हीं का फैसला था, सरकार का इसका कोई लेना देना नहीं है. न तो सरकार से उन्होंने कोई डायरेक्शन मांगे, न सरकार ने उनको कोई डायरेक्शन दिए. मोटे तौर पर सरकार की तरफ से तो ये होता है कि जहां पर पूजा स्थल है, चाहे वो मंदिर हो चाहे मस्जिद हो, उसको हटाने के लिए 10 बार सोचना पड़ता है. न तो डायरेक्टर लोकल बॉडी से पूछा गया. भारतीय जनता पार्टी का के कंट्रोल का वो राजगढ़ नगर पालिका का बोर्ड है जिसने सर्वसम्मति से ये फैसला किया और फैसला करने के बाद में जो है इस घटना को अंजाम दिया।
But the BJP says the district administration helped in the demolition drive and the state government cannot wash its hands off so easily from the entire exercise.
देखिए, पुराना आदेश था 2013 के अंदर गौरवपथ बनना था, गौरवपथ रुका, उसके बाद वापस नगरपालिका ने प्रस्ताव निसंदेह पारित किया, पर नगरपालिका के प्रस्ताव पर उन्होंने अतिक्रमण हटाने की बात की, पर अतिक्रमण को चिन्हित करने का काम और अतिक्रमण को हटाने का काम, ये काम सरकार का था, वहां के उपखंड अधिकारी का था, जो उन्होंने नहीं किया और बहरे से सारे को तोड़ा गया। इसकी न्यायिक जांच हो जाए तो सारी बात सामने आ जाएगी।
And as the temple row is set to escalate, the Congress is planning to issue a notice to the municipal council and the BJP is set to send a fact-finding mission to Rajgarh town.
ये देखो सराय में जो मंदिर है शिव जी का वो कैसे धरा।
In Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
So the controversy over demolitions and bulldozers there. Meanwhile, in Karnataka, the big focus is on the fact that 2 young girls in a hijab have missed their crucial exams, which means they could lose up to a year of their education. This after the whole standoff. Recently, the State High Court had ruled that all students must follow the uniform code of colleges. These students say that their college suddenly changed the uniform code just last year, meaning that they can't wear a hijab anymore and they won't give their exams without their hijab, and the state has refused to relent.
Alia Azadi and Resham, 2 12th class students who went to court on the hijab ban in Karnataka, came to write their second PU exams wearing the hijab. This despite the Karnataka High Court having ruled out that possibility. As the students refused to take off their hijabs, they were not allowed to enter the examination hall. The principal of Vidyodaya College, which was the designated examination center, blamed it on the girls.
Have they allowed you to take the exam or not? Are they not allowing you to take exam?
Our vice principal, who is in charge of the examination, they convinced her, so you can write the examination, no one is going to disturb you. But we are following the government rules, we have to follow the government orders. So therefore, we are requesting you to remove the hijab, then write. So the students, they said, no, we are writing the exam only by wearing the hijab. They are very much sure that government is not allowing. They came here to create problem, I think.
The hijab controversy has already turned educational institutions politically and communally volatile. The 2 young students have expressed their ambition to become a wildlife photographer and an aircraft engineer. However, caught in the politically charged controversy over the issue of hijab, their dreams of becoming what they want to might get sidetracked. In Udupi, with camera person Govind Murthy, Shrija for NDTV.
Really a needless controversy at this time. At stake is young women's education. Meanwhile, let's just look at the stock markets. Markets declining over 1% this Friday. The Nifty falling 222 points. The Sensex also sliding by 714 points. All sectors have ended in the red. Banking and metal stocks sink the most. The market meltdown coming after the US Fed flagged a sharp rate hike next month. Meanwhile, let's just look at what the oil prices are looking at, because even though global oil prices saw a marginal dip today, that's because of the Shanghai lockdown and decreased demand, oil prices have been rising consistently since there was no resolution to the whole Russia-Ukraine war, and the Indian crude oil basket rates have risen 8.5% since the 11th of April. Could that mean even higher fuel prices soon? Remember, there'd been a hiatus and fuel prices hadn't been hiked for at least the last 10 days. But now with crude oil prices up since April the 11th, crude oil rates could rise to, as per the Indian basket, to $106.14 per barrel. So the average price of crude oil at $103 a barrel till April 21st. So let's just see how it plays out in the next few days. Well, moving to other news, and here's a battle between the world's richest men, this time for IPL TV rights. Rika has the latest. Rika.
Well, Sonia, yes, the world's richest man and perhaps, if I'm not mistaken, world's 9th richest man. And I can assure you it will be another 2020 match that will be played outside the field, and the IPL television rights are up for grabs for a period of 2023 to 2027. Reliance and Amazon will be the two prime bidders. The bids will open in the first week of June, around 12th of June, and the bidding will take place online over a period of 2 days. So lots of people from Amazon and Reliance will be involved in this whole bid. Now the last cycle of the bid went for over 16,000 crore rupees, and what I hear that the value of this bid and what the IPL teams have been telling me may cross 50,000 crore rupees. Reliance Industries has already launched 2 sports channels meanwhile for this bid. Remember, this will be a bid separately for TV and for live streaming platforms, and for the first time the bids will be sold separately, and they will be in 4 bundles that we have heard, and bid documents have been purchased by these 2 majors, Reliance, Amazon, and by Sony and a few others. And there will be 4 packages. Package A will be television, package B digital, C will be non-exclusive special category, and D the rest of the world.
Right, so you said 50,000 crores could be a possible bid. Rika, it's actually unbelievable when you look at these numbers for just actually something, a league which came up of just cricket, and now it's
well, it's the
really
Super Bowl of cricket, Sonia, and everyone will be having their eyes, all the world leaders will be having their eyes on the IPL bids when they open on 12th. Meanwhile, in the middle of stories of hate in the country, former cricketers are tweeting for unity. Here are 2 tweets I bring to you, one from Irfan Pathan, former India cricketer. Fast bowler, he says, "My country, my beautiful country has the potential to be the greatest country on earth," but he leaves it there. Amit Mishra, former leg spinner for Indian team, says, "My country, my beautiful country has the potential to be the greatest country on earth only if some people realize that our constitution is the first book to be followed."